Yeah, I think we're live. Yay. Okay. Hey, Rob,
Hey, Cheryl.
how are you today?
I'm very well, thanks. And you?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm great. I mean, I can't believe it's Thursday already. I don't know where this week has gone. It's
I
just,
don't know where this month has gone. It's already end of March.
I know. End of
Goodness.
Q1
End
today.
of Q1. It's yeah, everything's been a blur for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's interesting because I forget, like, there's, especially with salespeople that, today's the day, right? You've got to get those,
Yeah.
those orders in. So, is that what you were doing?
Yes, with where I have been with my surgery recently, I had to take some time off, but yeah, it's been very hectic with trying to close out any last minute deals to hit our numbers for the end of this, or for especially for our customers, like they need to spend the money by today,
Right.
right? And if they
Yes.
don't, they lose it. So it's been busy.
You're gonna have a busy day. Well, thanks for taking the time now because like I can appreciate that this time is really valuable for you today. And you were in the workshop this morning. And so I really appreciate that. We probably should have planned it a little differently. But we're here, so it's all good, right?
All
It's all
good.
um, and today kind of marks like the 6 months of your journey and thinking into results too. So that's kind of neat that we kind of get to, hear about what the past 6 months have looked like for you and how this program has helped you. So first of all, before we get started, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Raffanan. I am an account sales executive in the medical device field. So that's what I do professionally. On top of that, I am new to the coaching world, working with Cheryl, working with a specific sort of audience, which is bariatric patients. And that's because about a year and a half ago, I had bariatric surgery. And throughout my whole journey, I had lost 205 pounds, starting at 380 pounds. And yeah, it's been quite the journey that I've gone through, not just physically and emotionally through losing it, but all the different twists and turns that I took through that, including meeting you, Cheryl, and where that has sort of expanded my mind. I'm also a father of two kids, Marcus, my 5-year-old, and Lily, my 7-year-old, and they are my why for doing everything. My wife and my kids are my why for doing anything. And so, working with you in the past 6 months has been great because it's really put into context um, not only what I haven't been able to do because of the physical shape I was in previously, and I think emotional and mental shape as well, but most importantly, what I can do now because of me having all my faculties and being able to be aware of everything I can do now. So it's been a blessing for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So what's changed for you over the, like, you lost all this weight, right? And I think that, a lot of people think, oh, if I just lost the weight, I could, then everything would be okay. But I know you've said this before, like losing the weight was just the beginning. And then, diving into this work and learning how to tap into the power of your mind and master mindset at a deeper level. Um, what's changed for you because of that?
Yeah, like that's exactly the way I feel. Like a lot of people think that the surgery, as well as losing the weight, is the solution. And for me, surgery has just been a tool. And realistically, for me, the TIR program really has been the toolbox that allows me to use all those different tools, be it the surgery, be it my strength and my passion, and all the other faculties that I have and that I'm aware of now, to utilize it to get to the life that I want. And so, I sort of had goosebumps when you mentioned that this is the 6 month mark. This is the day, because you know I'm running it in my head who I was at that time, and I think I've gotten past a lot of the really bad stuff. When I started this program, I was already down X amount of pounds. I was where I wanted to be. I had this new outlook on life. But the question always was, what now? I've reached the holy grail of our bariatric community. I had lost all this weight. I was healthy. A lot of my health issues were gone. But what now? Is it time for me to sort of rest on my laurels and sort of enjoy the life I have now? Or was it time to keep trying to improve myself, right? Use the momentum that I have. And, one of the big things that I realized was very soon after I started this program, this was a discussion I had with my brother, was I never really planned for the future when I was bigger. And I didn't know that until later because we were talking about an investment or investments. And my brother said to me, you never talked about investments. Like, what's going on? And I thought about it for a while. And I was just like, it's because I didn't really want a future. I didn't see a future. It would be, thinking 10 years down the line. That means, great, 10 years down the line, I have this money or whatever. But that means that I have to live 10 more years in pain, unhappy, uncomfortable in my own skin, in my own body, disappointment that I'm not there for my kids and my wife, and all these different things. And thinking into results has been the number one thing to push me towards looking at a future.
Mm.
And for me, that has been the biggest gift, right? It's
Wow.
great that I had this physical life and that was great, but who cares? At the end of the day, it's what's the big picture of everything. And this has given me that big picture. And so
Mm.
it's been super powerful.
That is powerful. And I can imagine, like, maybe there just wasn't a level of belief that there would be a future. So if there's no belief, then there's nothing moving you towards it, right? So that makes total sense to me. And you've got this new lease on life from a health perspective. And now what do you want to do with it? How do you want to, how do you want to design it? Because I can also imagine that when you're feeling unwell, and not capable of doing certain things, you can't even allow yourself to really dream about what that would look like, what life would look like. So now you've got a completely new perspective on what life looks like for you moving forward and what's possible.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
really you're really just getting started. Like we were talking about that today as well, right? You're like, you're just touching the surface of what's possible for you. And so in the past, so you've got this new outlook on life and what's possible, and vision for moving forward. And you've had some really good wins. Like you were just talking about your sales last year. So tell us about that.
Yeah, like I am a fairly guarded and skeptical person. As you know, I've always been a how person. For anyone else listening, whenever Cheryl talks about those people who overthink things and need to know that, that's me. I'm the poster boy of that, right? And so I'm always like, okay, how do I plan things? How do I in sales, we have this goal, has to be a SMART goal, and I need to know the steps to get there, and then I need to know the steps to get to those steps to get there, right? So I need to understand everything. And so I overthink every single thing in my life. And this has given me the ability to look at the big picture and look at what it is I want, and what that goal is specifically, and sort of connect to that before I tend to talk myself out of things, right? Like we know that it's easy for you to think so much about something to get to scare yourself off. And that's what I've done all this time. And so with a lot of my big wins, um, professionally, it was great. Once I started this program, I think it was about maybe a month in, I got a promotion back into the field. So I got a big raise while doing that. I was able to negotiate a signing bonus. And I guarantee I wouldn't have done that previously because there was always that fear. I always knew I was a good rep. I always knew that I was one of the best reps in the company, but it was that fear of, I don't want to push too much. I don't want to feel like, that I'm ungrateful for this opportunity. Whereas realistically, I should be thinking my company should be grateful that they have me working for them, and I know what my value and my worth is. So I have no problem asking for that, right? So yeah, my last quarter last year, while I was thinking into results and I had all that momentum, was probably my best quarter I've ever done in
Wow.
the 8 years that I've been medical device. So it was amazing. It was a good close to the year, and the wins I think just kept on coming, right? Everything came when they needed to come. Um, and, you know, coming into this role or into this job, my car was breaking down, gas was going up. I had a big SUV that I had to pay for. And I was like, okay, I got to shell out all this money. And then all of a sudden, this new position with more pay, with a signing bonus, and a paid for car comes. And now I don't need to pay for a car. I was able to sell that car for money. So, you know, for anyone who's worried about, hey, where's the money going to come from? That was me again. I was thinking about that. It comes. And anytime I stop and allow myself to actually not get in my way and think and welcome the money in, and that's why this whole week has been so powerful, is because I notice every single time I stop and I let myself welcome money in, it comes. I just had another opportunity at the very beginning of this week where I started saying I'm going to welcome money in, and then all of a sudden an opportunity falls into my lap with really minimal work, and it's going to net me an extra 10 to 15,000 this year, right? And so, you know, opening it up. Now I have one of these condos in the Philippines. We own 5 of them that we're trying to sell. Now we have someone looking at them in the
Mm.
Philippines right now, looking to possibly buy some. You know, it's been years that we've been trying to, and you know, I believe that this is not just a coincidence.
No, not at all. Like I guess what's coming up for me is, what Bob Proctor always says, which is, money comes where it's invited and stays where it's welcome.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you today. You're starting to welcome it in and it's coming and it
Yeah.
just keeps flowing. And that's where we want to go. So, I mean, that's incredible. A signing bonus, your highest quarter in sales, investments, opportunities are coming because you're allowing yourself to receive. And we've been talking about receiving as well. So all very exciting, very exciting. I love hearing these results. They just really melt my heart. Really.
And these are all like the financial things, right? Like, you know, that's great, but I really do think that as much as those are very big wins, I think the biggest wins have been what I've worked on myself, right? And 6 months in, and I've listened / read through the program, I think 3 or 4 times, right? I'm constantly going through them. But even now, every single day we read, and we read almost every day in the morning groups, something always resonates with me. And I think that shows, it goes to say that regardless of how long you've been in this program, things will always stick because they happen when it needs to happen, when you're willing and accepting it, right? And for me, as you know, and as anyone who's been on this program with me, I am the guy to go all out, right? Started off, I had like these huge lists of goals, all these great things I wanted to do. I had this big picture of the life that I wanted, which is great because I still do. And I go, 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 go. And then I start to decline because it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's very hard to keep that momentum up all the time. You know, you're talking about that in one of the sessions today about how it's easy to start losing that momentum, and then you get on another call and then it comes back up and then it starts to decline. You know, I found that happened to me, and I started to lose a bit of my consistency. And I will say that that's probably the best thing that's happened to me in this program. Me losing my consistency, you calling me out, and me learning how to prioritize. Because of that, I started saying, yeah, okay, great. You have this big picture of everything you want to do. How do we focus? How do we make it easier? And how do I tick things off and be like, okay, this is what I'm working on. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And so it really helped me get into my daily work, daily study, and get a rhythm and learn how to prioritize things. Because this has always been somewhere where I would fall apart in my previous life with dieting. You know, I go on extreme yo-yo diets, and I do amazing, and then I fall off and I can't get back in, right? So I struggle. And so it's that's sort of been my approach, and this has helped me with fixing that. And you would hope that after 30 years, after all these health scares, after all these wins and losses, you'd learn, but you don't always, right? And this is the thing I think that's really helped stick it home for me.
Right. Well, because it's so subconsciously rooted that we're not even aware of it. But what you said makes so much sense, because if we talked this week in the workshop about how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So I set really big goals, and then I do,
Yeah.
the yo-yo thing, and then I, set health goals, and then I do the yo-yo thing, and I do, so it makes sense that when we learn how to shift that, and we learn how to get into a consistent flow, then we don't we shift the paradigm of the habitual thoughts, patterns, and behaviors, and we end up getting the kind of results that we want versus what we don't want. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
That's
when you said that in class, that was like one of the biggest aha moments I've had, because that's exactly what it is for me,
Mhm.
financially, health-wise, with my passions. I just go all out and then I fade, and then I go all out and I fade.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
or you crash and burn, right? Like you
yep.
just burn out. Cool. And what's it like to have been in the group with all these amazing people that we have in our group? How's that experience been for you?
It's been absolutely amazing. And I'll echo what I told Douglas when I called him and we had a discussion before. It's it's just amazing to be in the energy of other people. And you feed off the people around you, and there are a lot of people in the group. And as much as early on I was like, I may not fit in this group, because some people, I remember when I started with your goal school, you had people trying to get to the seven figures. I'm like, oh, I'm not there. I want, my goal is to have a six pack or whatever it was at that time. And it's just like we're in totally different spaces. But I learned to realize it doesn't matter. We're all like-minded people. We have our own individual goals, and you feed off that, and they support you. So it's been a huge benefit to me through my journey, to be able to feed off other people and their passion for everything. And I also am the type of person to learn by observing. I observe a lot. I take some time to really see what works with people. And there are a lot of people in the group and I'm not shy about reaching out to people and asking. I do that quite a bit. And I've reached out to people and asked, how do you do this? How is it that you're doing so well with it? And I get their take on it. And it's been very helpful with me implementing things, for myself. So I can't imagine doing this work without the support of the group. 100%.
Yeah, and I love the friendships that are being formed, and it's just tremendous amount of support. Because that's part of it. Like we lift each other up, right?
100%.
Not
Yeah.
transformation is challenging. We can have our good days and our bad days, but we have the support to keep us moving in the direction that we desire. We and this week, has been a little different. We've been talking about money. We don't always talk about money in the sense of we really focus on just the habitual thoughts, patterns, and behaviors, but we've really been learning a lot about money. What have you learned? What have you learned
Oh
this
my
week?
God. I told you, I said this yesterday. Yesterday's session was the most impactful session I've ever been in. Um, I think with a lot of things, and I think maybe because money tends to be a taboo subject, um, we think we have an understanding of the way we feel, and all the things that are affecting our thoughts and behaviors. We don't. And so like when you're going through all the different things that I feel sad about money because, and I feel guilt about money. There are so many different emotions that we feel in regards to money. And
Mm,
when you try to understand why that's the case, it's mind blowing, because these are a lot of things that I would say when I was younger, I'm not doing this with my family when I'm older, right? There's no way. And then you get older and then I'm doing the exact same thing, right? Because it's what I was taught, and it was what my parents were taught, and them before, and their parents before that. And so I've learned to really look at, try to understand why I do things the way I do, what my imprints are, um, to really that really form these paradigms that I have. But more importantly, and I think, when I look at the past 6 months as well as this past week, I've learned to really forgive myself. Like, I think that was the biggest thing, because, with that whole like all out mentality, I'm also really hard on myself. I have very high standards for myself. I have high standards for my kids. I have high standards for other people out there. And I find that I have the highest standards for myself. And I'm very hard on myself if I don't achieve that. And I put a lot of pressure, and I tend to stress about things. And I feel like, um, through this whole journey, especially the past, I would say 2 months. The past 2 months have been great for me. Um, but through this week, I just realized that I need to forgive myself a lot more, and I've been opening that door this week a lot more to forgiving myself and not and being kind to myself about it. Again, we had just said this right before we started that this is a long-term journey, right? There's
Mhm.
my work with TIR, I don't think will ever end. I think it's always going to be going on because I think we always need it, right?
Mm.
You take a week where you're on vacation or something and all of us are lost all of a sudden, right? So imagine being out of the program, right? Like we need to be able to feed off each other. We need to be able to work on this just like any other skill out there.
Mhm.
And so I think with all the different goals that I have, I want to make sure that I push to be as big as possible and do as much as possible and really be connected to what I have as my goal, big picture. But you had mentioned this after Bob had passed. The goal is also about the journey and not just the outcome. And I think I realized that a lot more. And because of that, I think I forgive myself a lot more.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And, it is a journey. And, each time you hit, a level, you realize that I can keep going. I can
Yeah.
dig deeper. And like I've been doing this work for a few years now, and I continue to do the work and go deeper and just see, the possibilities just continue to blow my mind as I do. And you touched upon something that I think is really important for people because we talk about the program, we talk about joining the group, we talk about, all of that, but really the importance of mentorship. We don't really focus on that enough, I think. And, I've been so blessed to have really incredible mentors in my life that have helped me get to the level that I'm at. And I wouldn't be here without them. And, for everybody who knows me, they know I lost three of my, really, important mentors in the past year. And I am just so eternally grateful for them because I know like they changed my life. They changed my life in ways I can't even describe in the few minutes that we have here. And so, yeah, what can you say about the mentorship and that experience?
It I think it's just super important to be able to work with a mentor, and for a number of reasons. A lot of them are the ones that we all think about. It's someone to give you guidance, it's someone to support you, it's someone to motivate you. But then there's the other ways. Like I think the fact that a lot of us see that you put into practice everything that you teach us is refreshing, right? And it motivates us to keep doing what we're doing because you're putting into practice everything that we're trying to do as well. And so we can see how successful you are, and we are all wanting to get to that level. And and you're showing us that the work never ends, right? You always have to put that into practice, and you always need to be practicing everything. And to see our mentor doing that, it means a lot. I think for me it does, and I know for a lot of other people it does as well. So that's one part. But yeah, for me it was a big thing to get past ego. Uh, I grew up very much in the mindset that you could do it. You could do it. You could do it yourself, right? Um, Give me the work. I'm going to do it on my own. I'll be okay. And the more and more I do this program, and I think the more and more I get to learn more about myself, it's not that I can't, it's that I shouldn't. Why should you not accept help, right? You know, I gave this analogy to someone else one time. You know, if you can't afford to buy a house right now, are you going to wait 30 years to buy a house, or are you going to get a mortgage, right? Why would you not use the resources available to you to make the biggest impact in your life? And I think working with a mentor is exactly that, right? Because realistically, if I had the faculty, if I had all the tools, if I had the know-how and the guidance to do everything on my own, I wouldn't have been 380 pounds. I wouldn't have had all those health problems. I wouldn't have had all those other issues because I would have dealt with them, and I didn't. So there's definitely the need to work with a group and with a mentor. And it's for me, it was just a matter of realizing that and being open to it. Like many things that we're learning in this program and this week, you just have to welcome it in, right?
Oh,
And once you do, the power is, yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, just, I mean, we can't always see what's in front of us. And sometimes we just need someone to hold that mirror up.
Yeah.
Or like you said, someone who's been where you are and you know, and can relate and you know, can say, okay, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yep.
And that's why, you know, having you you know, on my team running this group for people going through the bariatric journey, like you've been where they are, right? And you have, you know, you know what that feels like, you know, you've been on that journey, and now you have this amazing material to help them, you know, understand that there's so much more than just that. And so you're the perfect person to run that group. I mean, there's nobody better than you. And so you're gonna, I just know, you know, as you continue to grow and evolve, you're just going to become such an important part of so many people's lives as you know, start to mentor them through their journeys. And like you said, you're just getting started. That's the cool part. You're just
Yep.
getting started. So, you know, we'll check in, you know, in another 6 months or so, probably sooner, because, you know, I just love to talk to you guys and hear all the good stuff that's happening for you. But just know that you're such an inspiration to so many. And I'm just so grateful to have you in our group. And I just love all the things that are happening for you. And I just know it's going to keep getting better and better. So thanks for sharing today. And, you know, congratulations on an amazing year. I know you've got some big goals with President's Club and other things this year. And I know you're going to hit it. I just know you are. It's already done. So
Thanks so much,
well,
Cheryl.
we might as well just celebrate right now.
Let's start the party. Are you going to DJ the party or?
I will be absolutely, I will absolutely be there for that.
Amazing. And I'll
Okay.
wear my hat too. I'll wear
Oh, I
my
love
picture
that.
hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's the thing, right? This work can be fun.
Mhm.
It can be fun. It's a lot more
Should
fun when
be.
you do it. It's a lot more fun when you do it with people.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like we talk about this work and the end goal is to have, you know, to build that life that we're all going to enjoy. But why can't we enjoy that now while we're building it, right? So
Mhm.
I agree with you. Enjoy it
Exactly.
while we're doing it.
Yeah, we celebrated some big wins today in the group. I know you couldn't make it because you actually have a job that you have to, like, you know, but we celebrated our Q1 goals today.
Awesome.
And you know, we want to celebrate, you know, we want to
Sure.
celebrate big stuff, and we want to celebrate the small stuff. So so we'll continue to do that, and I will see you tomorrow. And you know, for everyone who's watching this, you know, if you have any questions about Rob's program, comment below, and I'm sure he'll reach out and share more about it. So thanks for sharing, Rob.
Thanks, Cheryl. Have a great day.
Day.